What's up, guys? My name's Jason and I'm out here at a campsite today. We're testing out the Velowave Ranger. This is an e-bike. It is a mountain bike, front suspension, not a full suspension bike, but for most riding that I do, and probably what you'll do, this is going to be what you're looking for. Now, I really like this bike because it is a fat tire bike. You can see that there. And I ride in a lot of conditions that are less than desirable. I live in Colorado. It is snowing probably about, 8 months out of the year. So I wanted something that can kind of roll over snow and ice and do pretty well. So I'm trying out the Velowave. This is, like I said, a fat tire bike. It has a 750 watt motor. This is a rear hub drive rather than having a motor here. The ones that do that are a lot more expensive, so I thought this was a little bit better in my price range. So I will get this down off of my bike stand here in a few minutes, but I just wanted to show you this before it got too windy because the wind is picking up. Now, I am just a little bit under 6 foot, and this bike is probably the ideal height for me. A lot of e-bike companies now are doing kind of like a standard frame across the board. That is the case with the Velowave as well. So I'll put the stats up here somewhere of the ride height, but it is pretty much ideal for me, and I've only raised the seat a little bit. All right, guys, it's a little slick out here, but we're gonna roll with it. This is probably the worst conditions to be riding in. It is very crunchy ice, and the snow is not ideal. I've been riding this in the snow for the last couple days at my house, and it's been great because the snow's been better. This is also gonna have disc brakes, which I would believe is pretty standard on these heavy e-bikes, but that is the case with this one. So anyway, there is a fender kit as well as a little rack here that you can store stuff on. I didn't opt for those options, but I really kind of wish I had gone with the fenders now that I've ridden this a little bit, just because I've been riding in mud and it's not the greatest. On here, we also have a spot where you can put your water bottle here. I guess you could do that here as well, or you could store, a bike pump on either of these, but that doesn't come with the bike. On the Velowave, this has a battery that is actually stored and locked in here. You can't remove this without the key, but you can charge it here if you somehow misplace your key and you just need to charge it in a pinch. But I almost always take this out. It is a 2-step system. You pull this after you unlock this, and it will pop right out. A lot of bikes will put it right here, and it kind of looks like a converted bike at that point, but I just really like how sleek this one is. All right, but anyway, let's go ahead and get the helmet on with the GoPro cam, and I will try to narrate. I got a little attachment for my GoPro. Hopefully that'll work, but it's very likely I'll have to do a voiceover. But yeah, let's go ahead and get riding on this thing, pop this off the stand, and the plan is to ride up this hill. I don't know if you can tell how steep it is, pretty steep, and kind of head over that way where there is more kind of flat area. If you look this way, it is straight downhill and super icy, which is why I picked this spot over a better spot that's down there. So yeah, let's go ahead and get riding. So I do want to note something for you guys who are, ex-motorcycle riders, who have a motorcycle. This key is only for unlocking this. This is not to start it, so you don't need this key in order to start it. The only thing you're going to need in order to start it is to hold this button, power button down for 3 seconds. I believe it's 3 or so, and then you'll have the full capability. You can either, use just the throttle here to add the motor, or you can do a pedal assist mode 1 through 5. So the bike is actually pretty smooth, and that is definitely due to the 4-inch wide 26 fat tires. Definitely absorb a lot of impact. I mean, driving over this, it's nothing crazy, but you know, for sure it is super smooth. You can see here that I hit 17 miles per hour, and that is while going uphill. So I think they claim that it only goes 25 kilometers per hour, but I guess with pedaling that is different. I was actually able to find this little offshoot. It was very icy and didn't love that, but the bike was able to handle everything pretty well. And you know, I switched to the 5 pedal assist, I believe, here because yeah, I don't want to rely on the throttle. But yeah, this is pretty thick snow. Like I said, it was still pretty crunchy, so it actually is kind of not the best for riding over. But even on this little back road trail here, you know, it handles itself pretty well. The motor has, I believe, 80 Newton meters of torque, so pretty strong uphill. And you know, right here, I'm not really sure how fast I was going, but it felt super fast, so maybe I was even beating that 17 miles per hour right there. All right, my mount fell off, so I'm gonna have a hard time filming, but I'll kind of just walk you guys through these settings here. So obviously the lower you go, the less pedal assistance that you're going to get. So basically you can either use the trigger like that, which you can hear is making it go, or you can do a 1, which means that when you pedal you will get a little bit of assistance. 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be the maximum, and I found that 5 is probably a little bit more than I need. You know, if you really don't want to pedal a lot, then 5 might be the way to go. I'm on very uneven ground here, and I was getting up to about 16 miles per hour. So you can get a lot higher if you're on flat ground. So around my house, it's pretty flat. So when I ride around there or the greenway, I get really high speeds. I'll have to try to figure out what the exact top speed is. You can combine the pedaling with that assistance and get a lot of speed, especially downhill. You know, I was going uphill on the way up here, and I was still able to achieve 16 miles per hour. One thing I really like about this is that when you're pedaling, you can kind of lock this in to get a little bit easier pedaling, and then if you need to really get some good spring rate, you can you know, unlock the compression here. So what I do when I'm on some pretty bad conditions is I keep the PSI lower. It's just like your vehicle. You know, when I'm off-roading in my 4Runner, you know, I'm lowering that PSI to get a better grip, and that is the same thing when I'm in deep snow. Now if I'm on a, you know, not a single track, if I'm on a road or something like that where it's perfectly flat and level, you want to keep that PSI up, you know, same as in your car. So I'm out here at a campsite, and I'm able to get, you know, pretty good trails out here. While I was riding, I saw a lot of other fat tire tracks, so I'm in pretty good company out here. Right now it's pretty bad, windy, foggy, probably some of the worst conditions other than maybe like really loose sand. So I'm going to try and get a code for you guys. I will put that up here if I'm able to get that, and you guys can check this out. I think it's a really great option. But like I said, this is the Velowave Ranger. It's a fat tire electric mountain bike. Now, if you're going to be doing crazy downhill stuff, you'd obviously want to get a full suspension, but you know, I'm not going to be doing that in this one. Maybe I'll review another bike at some point if you guys like this that does downhill. But the amount of people that are going to be doing, you know, ski resorts, big, crazy, double black diamonds is pretty low, but for 90% of people, I think the front suspension bikes are probably going to be perfectly fine. And especially with that nice squish of the fat tire, you're going to get a nice soft cushioned ride.